Part 2 of this video is wood stove talk. I'm going to get a wood stove in the tiny house. It's not going to be a very big one. I'm looking at the Cubic Mini and the Grizzly. I'm moving towards the Grizzly, and I recently bought, that hasn't arrived yet from Amazon, a 3-inch pellet stove brush that I can shove down this fireplace that's propane, down the exhaust pipe, and down into the basically I'm just gonna shove it down, make sure it's clean all the way through, and then I won't have issues, okay? And then once that's done, I'll do a test burn. If it's still sooting, then obviously it's there's something wrong, and I don't know what it is. So there you have it. But anyway, the 3-inch pellet stove brush that I'm going to order is going to be dual purpose. I can clean my fireplace here, and since I'm going to be planning on getting the Grizzly Cubic Mini fireplace out of a nice company here in Canada, they have a 3-inch vent size as well, so I can have it for both of my heating systems for cleaning. Positioning of the Grizzly and all those other details are to come, because they're not cheap, but it's a must-have item for off the grid, especially if something happens to the system and I cannot get propane. So wood's always available, and I have some nice sources for pallet wood, and I just gotta watch which pallet wood I take so I'm not burning anything that's coated with chemicals and God knows what. And I can also make those paper bricks or wax bricks or paper sawdust, wax, whatever you want to call them, paper mache, whatever. There's a million videos of how to do it online. I will eventually get into doing that when I have the time, when I have the fireplace, and all that fun stuff. So that's part 2 of my plans. Now, we're getting close, guys. Well, not really, but the plans are in place now. So we get the solar up proper, we get the proper big battery bank in, then we can put the turbine up, we can get the Wi-Fi antenna up, we can then also have to put the a TV antenna, flat one, on the front of the tiny house. I'm not going to put it on the pole with the wind turbine, because I'm just not going to do that. I'm just going to get a flat antenna and stick it on the very front of the tiny house, and that way, we're not having a monstrosity. Well, it's I don't know how ugly the tiny house is going to look with eaves trough and gutter along the tops going down the entire length of this thing. I'm not here to be on TV or on HGTV and all these other crazy shows where the tiny houses are $200,000 and missing the entire point of a tiny house. I've ranted about those shows before because it's absolutely ridiculous. For that kind of money, go buy a house. And most of those HGTV tiny house shows and tiny houses are not even off the grid. They're plugging into the grid, and they're as much as a house. So what's the point? They missed the boat on that one. So anyway, plans are in place, guys. We got the wood stove is in the works. Whether I get it this year or next year, it will be happening. So stay tuned for that video. And I'm going to vent it similar to this propane fireplace, guys. I'm going to vent it. I'm going to vent it a length up, and I actually am going to show that in a coming video when I have the money to afford these items. But stay tuned for that anyway. So let me go over the overview of the plans again, since I kind of got sidetracked big time. Flat solar panels get up on the roof in the spring. They're connected to brand new big battery bank in the front there. Then I can hook up the wind turbine, because my dad's eager to get that hooked up too. He wants to see that in action. And so am I, because then I have power at night if it's windy. And normally it's windy in the wintertime here, and that's kind of awesome. Hybrid system. So, solar panels, battery bank, wind turbine, TV antenna is, I'm not worried about. I barely watch TV because it's fake news basically and garbage. And okay, Wi-Fi antenna goes up. Also, not needed until I'm in here full time, but would be nice because then I can shoot live videos from the tiny house. Anyway, once the flat panels are up, I got the battery bank up, got the turbine up. Speaking of turbine, the pole for the turbine is reminding me that the pole for the turbine is going to interfere with a eave trough or gutter on that side of the tiny house. I'm guessing I'm going to get one gutter up on this side, the south side of the tiny house, the full length, and we'll see how well that does. And if I like what I see, I'll do this side too. Only partially the way down though. So we'll do one at a time, maybe with a couple years in between, depending on the money flow, etc., etc. So anyway, forget about eave troughs on this side of the tiny house. Well, this side we will do. So when the flat panels are up, then I will have space for a gutter to go all the way across this side behind me, this side of the tiny house. Then I will have my own way of getting water off the grid in the tiny house. One of the most important things you can do if you're going to be off the grid, having a water source and treating your own water is pretty much number one. So I'm glad I'm going to be able to do this. Now, I don't know about, once I do all this stuff, can the tiny house be safetied? I'm guessing so. I'm not breaking any rules other than ugliness on the outside of the tiny house. But then again, I'm in no hurry to move the tiny house. I pay $50 a month here for rent. Dirt cheap. I can pay that all day long for the rest of my life. No issues if they'll have me. So I'm just kind of working my way. I'm doing everything legally as I can in my situation. We want to make it so if I gotta move this tiny house on a whim, it's doable. I won't have to take 2 or 3 weeks to rip down all the solar panels from the roof because they're raised on those aluminum angle iron pieces that I made up. Though that worked excellent, guys. No issues, ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I'd do that in the future. But that's not the case because that goes beyond the height limits of this tiny house. I'm already at 13 feet from ground to the flat part of my roof. 13.4 is the max. Any more than that, you got to pull permits, and stuff gets expensive to move. Real expensive, real quick. So instead of screwing around, I'm just putting flat panels right across the top of the roof, and then we're not going to have issues if I have to move the tiny house in the future. And I don't have to take 2 weeks off work just to do that to keep somebody else happy, right? You know what I mean? So I'm planning around keeping things legal, keeping things happy for everybody, and saving a whole ton of work in the future by doing the right thing now. Now, the other thing that really pisses me off, Amazon is supposed to be with this wonderful thing. You get stuff and no issues and blah blah blah. I've had the first issue with Amazon. I was sent the special tape for attaching the panels to the roof. They've only sent me one roll of the 2 I ordered at the checkout. So I contacted the seller and I said, well, what's going on here? Oh, well, we shipped one out, but we don't know where the other one is. So we can't give you a refund, a partial refund, so you got to ship the roll of tape back. Thank God I didn't use it yet. Ship the roll of tape back to us, and then we can give you all your money back. And I call bull crap on that. They just told me in the email they sent me one item instead of the 2 that I ordered. So how about you just send the extra roll to me, and then that's the end of the story, or you give me my money back without me sending the stuff back. That's garbage. What kind of operation is this? It's pretty bad. So I've never had to send anything back in the mail. So I'm investigating this and gonna go from there. But that pretty much, thank God I did not start on the solar panels, guys. Imagine if getting that email and I'm through the whole roll of tape or halfway through the tape. I'd be out quite a bit of money and screwed, and this company would be laughing all the way to the bank, and they've only sent me the one roll of tape. So thank God I didn't go ahead and put these babies up on the roof, because I would have got totally screwed by these guys. So I may have to contact Amazon, the company, and say, what the hell is going on with this seller? I think I'm being screwed here. So I don't know, guys. So stay tuned. I'll give you updates on all this garbage that I got to deal with. And see you on the next one, alright?